Thank you. Right, so I think last week we started with strings. And I think we got to, where did we stop? If somebody would remind me. Which of the words did we stop on? Hey.
I think we stopped on.
Pardon?
I think we stopped when we did trim and replace, combining trim and
Okay,
replace.
when we combine trim and replace.
Mm.
Beautiful. Okay. So the next word we will look at today, let's continue with that, is the word char index, which is another very important word. Char index string. We're going to look at the word char index. How do we use char index? Let me change my source. It's already there. Okay, if we have this, for example, if we have select train. Okay. Let's say we select this. Company string. Select company string from company locations. Let's see what we would get if we run this query. Do you notice anything in the output? Look carefully at the outputs and tell me if you notice anything at all.
It has both the countries and their capital
It
together,
has both country and
capital in the same column without space, and the countries in capital letters, the capitals in
are you
less.
sure it's capital? Are you sure country and capital? If you take England, for example, Northwest is not the capital, is it?
Oh, okay, maybe it's cities in the country. Sorry about that.
No problem.
And what else? I think that's all I could mention. Yeah.
Okay, look, just focus on England now.
Okay.
Right, focus on England. Look carefully at the country and look carefully at the other part.
I'm sorry.
What do you see?
Is it okay if you can make your screen full view?
It's full
Like,
view, actually. It's full.
okay.
I'm on full view.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay.
I
Yes.
think, okay. I think the countries are in capital letter and these other ones are small letter. That's the obvious difference. And then there is like a slash or a line in
The
between.
kind of case. Forget about the capitals and then the lowercase. Forget about that for now.
Okay.
Like a
But
divider.
what do you,
There's like a slash in between them.
What they call that sign? A slash, a straight slash in between.
there is the country from the region. So the other part, let's call the first part the country. Let's call the look at France and Paris. You would see that same. What is that sign called?
Hmm.
Who knows? You would see it on your computer keyboard. If you look at your computer keyboard, you would see it. If you have the UK keyboard, you would see it almost under the letter A.
I've seen it on my keyboard, though I don't have
Next to
I don't have
the up arrow. The sign is above the backslash. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, so we know the names of most of these things, but what is this particular one called? Okay, it's called a pipe. It's called a pipe, okay? That's a pipe. Now, so how do we separate the country from the region? One indication is the pipe. So, but how do we go about separating these two things? Reality. Yes, we've done a bit of stuff with strings, so somebody should give us an idea. Nobody? Oh, come on. I thought somebody was going to say substring. I thought somebody was going to say substring, and I would have said you've tried if you had said substring. But obviously, substring will not work in this particular instance. And the reason is simple. We do not know for each of these. You see, to use the substring effectively, you need to know the position of what you are targeting. If you take the first rule, rule 1, how many characters are in England? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 here. France has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. USA has 1, 2, 3. Spain has 5. See that there are varying numbers. It's not a fixed position. The substring as a start to get this position. So the most important thing here for us to do using the substring. Do you get the reasoning behind this? And this is where char index comes in. We can use the word char index words. So let's see what happens. When we say char index, what are we looking for? we are looking for the pipe. So that thing we are looking for is put in quotation marks. We are looking for the pipe. And where are we looking for the pipe? In which field are we looking for the pipe? The pipe is within the field company string. Right? The pipe is within company string. And to get to the pipe, where must we start counting from? We must start counting from the very first character, which is given a position as 0. Okay? So this is what we are looking for. If we run this, it will run very well. Okay, let me comment this out. I want everything on the same let me comment this out. Where are you? Comment. So you see that for this one, for the first row, the pipe is in position 8 and in that order. Right? So while we know the position of the pipe, once we know the position of the pipe, we can then use something we have already done to get all of the country. Okay, let me name this as position of pipe. Position of pipe. Position of pipe. It's the same thing. I've just given this a name, okay? Right. So now that we know the position of pipe, we can then do something. We can then move a step further and do something else. We can then get the country. How do we get country? We used something last week. Who remembers? On which side of the pipe is country?
On the left.
On the left. So we use the left word, left keyword. Left. Left of company string. Left of company string. We are looking for everything that is before the pipe. We are looking for everything that is before the pipe. Okay. Now, if we just leave it as this, what do you think is going to happen? It would give us, everything, including the pipe. This is the position of the pipe. So if we just leave it as this, If we just leave it as this, why is this underlined? Da, 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 da. Mm, 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 mm. Why is this underlined? This will definitely throw an error. Yep, I think, yep, we haven't completed it. We need to put that there. Okay. If we had, if assuming it worked and we just left it as that, then the pipe, it would have come with the pipe. The result would have come with the pipe. So if we execute this, you will see that we have separated the country from the company string, right? So now, how do we then get the region? Any idea?
Maybe instead of left, we'll use right.
I knew you would say that. I knew you would say that. We will try that, but let's see. We would actually try that, but let's use the substring first. Substring. Now, we are looking for the substring, the part of this string, which starts from after the pipe. We know that this gives us, the whole of this thing here gives us the position of the pipe, right? The whole of that gives us the position of the pipe. So if we want anything after the pipe, it must be this position. Things that would start after the pipe will be this position plus 1. Not so. So let's just copy this and bring it here. Okay. But where are we looking for this position? This position we are looking for. We have the substring. We are looking for the position within this string, right? We are looking for the position within the string, starting from the position within this string. We know the position of the pipe. Now the position of the pipe, given we did it this way, is dynamic. So it will work for any number of characters. Right, so we have the substring here. We know within which field we are looking for the remainder of that string, okay? So within this field, company string, we take the position of the pipe and we add 1 to it. Plus 1. All of this here, all of this here gives us a start position of anything after the pipe. the character immediately after the pipe. That is what that gives us. But how many characters do we want to return? We want to return everything that is after the pipe. So let's give it, let's say up to 30 characters. Though this is not what we have, it's not up to 30. But let's give it up to 30 characters, okay? And this is what? Let's call it region. Looks like there's an error somewhere. Oh, okay, I get it. I see the error. Who sees the error? Syntax. So that was where the error was. There wasn't that indentation mark. So if we run this now, let's see what we get. We have been able to separate country and region using the knowledge of the position of the pipe. Okay. Right. If you look carefully again at these things within the company string, do you notice any other thing at all?
There is a full stop at the end.
At the end of, yeah, you see full stop at the end of almost every string, right? On each of the, for each of the company strings, you see a full stop. Can we get rid of the full stop?
Yes, we
Are we
can.
able to get rid of the full stop?
Yes.
What would we use?
Space.
Come again?
Space.
Are you sure? So if we just put space there, it would work. Hmm? Are you 100% sure?
Can we use replace?
Yeah, we use replace. Replace. We have to replace the full stop with what?
With space, I guess.
With space. We replace full stop with space. So replace. Now, what do we want to replace? Just the full stop, okay? We have all of this already in the region. We have all of this already. So all we do, just copy everything. Right? Copy everything and bring it down here. So you can just slam it there. Okay, but now we want to replace something with another thing. What is it we want to replace? We want to replace full stop. So we put it in quotation marks. And we want to replace that with what? With space. Okay? We want to replace it with space. And let's call this region without full stop, without dots.
I have a question.
Have we finished? You will see that this is underlined showing us that we haven't finished. And the reason is that we haven't closed the bracket. So we need to close the bracket.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
I'm just thinking, replacing the full stop with space, is it a best practice? Because that means there will be space after, I mean, is it meant to be space after the, I mean, within the data also, I mean, after the Paris or Los Angeles, or I'm just thinking. So is it
Okay,
possible to
let's
replace
close the
the-
space. Let's close the space. It doesn't really matter. I get your question. I really do. Because we used trim, didn't we, to get rid of spaces, leading spaces. So why introduce a space again? I really get your question. So you would see that for these ones, the dots. There is no dots in any of these here. Whilst if you look carefully here, just region, you would see the dots. You would see the tiny dots. If you look hard enough, I'm not sure if you can see, but you can see that with this result. Right? So that is the use of char index. Now, to make this more visible, let me use another character instead of the full stop so that you see that it really works. To make it really very visible, let's use another character. Let's put a different character instead of full stop there, okay? And let's see what happens. Let's just to make sure it works. So we said full stop with space. Now let's put what character? Somebody choose a character. Any character.
Backward slash.
Backslash. So region with backslash. Backslash. Region with backslash. Let's see if we're gonna get that. So at the end of each of the regions, we should expect a backslash, okay? So you see that it really does work, right? Okay, so that is char index for you. It is used in finding the position of unwanted characters within a string. If the characters are inside a string, you use the char index to get them out, right? And with this, we have been able to separate region and country. Any questions? Any questions so far? Okay, let's go to the next word, reverse. Reverse. The reverse keyword. Let me see when we have that. So that's in company locations, salesman. Okay, let's see. We select. What do we want? Let me take a name, okay? That would make it simple. Salesman name. Salesman name. Select salesman name. From. Where is it? It's under company locations. Company locations. If we run this thing here, this small query here, we will get a salesman name. Okay. Assuming we use the word reverse. Reverse. Reverse the salesman's name. Reversed name. Let's see what is going to happen with this. And you see that everything has been reversed. So assuming you want to write something in code and you don't want people to understand, you can use a trick like this to code your language. And then when the recipient gets it, they will reverse it again, and then they can read. Right, so that is where reverse, but reverse is hardly used, actually. It is hardly used. What is the other word? Before we go to cast and convert, in fact, I would not even do convert today. But I will definitely do cast. Before we go to cast, I will use something to explain cast. And that is the word concatenation. Concatenation. Who understands what that word is? Hold on, 1 minute, please.
Is it like joining two strings together?
Pardon?
Is it like joining two strings?
Yeah, but give me 1 moment. Let me silence these dogs here. I'll come back in a bit. Where's the mute? I can't see my stuff because I'm sharing. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Baba Jide Alpha.
Right, I'm back. Okay, so concatenation. Somebody said something before I left.
Yeah, like joining two strings together or two words.
Okay,
together.
joining two strings together. Beautiful. So we use concatenation to join things together. Okay, so let's see. Let me change my data source. Let me see. So if, for example, I say select title, forename, surname, select title, forename, surname. From. Where are we taking this from? Let's say from employees, yeah. From employees. We know what that is, right? We know what we're gonna get with that. We have the title, we have the forename, we have the surname. We can put all of these together to get full name, right? We can use the word concatenation to get a full name. Now, so how do we do that? So we take surname, we take title, 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 plus space, plus forename, plus space, plus surname, title plus. Okay, so there should be a plus here. Surname. Okay. As full name. Let's see if it's gonna work.
Did you put your concat?
Yeah, the procedure is the concatenation.
Yeah.
So you see it's worked. That's the full name of the person. Yep. Any questions so far?
Okay, so even if you don't put concat, it understands with plus that
Yeah.
it's concatenation. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Now, let's look at something quite interesting. If I write this, if I write something like surname, okay, I need all of this. Select. I need title, surname, and say date. Start date. Start date. Can I concatenate this? Let's see. So we have title, we have surname. Let's take the forename out. Title, surname, we have plus, space.
I think you still have to remove the double one other space from between title and surname.
Pardon?
You have two spaces between title and surname.
No, I have just between title. Oh, okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Right. So let's see. Start date. Start date. As full name, name with date. Let's see if this is gonna work. Let's see if it's gonna work. Who thinks it's gonna work?
It won't work.
I think it will not work because they are not the same data type.
Thank you very much. So is it necessary for me to run the query?
Yeah, still run it.
Okay.
We can be sure.
You're very right. It wouldn't work because they are not the same data type. We have a string, we have strings, and then we have a data type. So they are not the same data type. So something can be, pardon?
But is there no scenario where it should run?
Is there what?
Is there nothing they can do so that it can run? I'm just guessing. There should
Oh
be a
yeah, we can do
scenario where it
something to
can
make
run.
it work. We can actually do something to make it work.
Mm.
And that is where the use of the word cast comes in. Right? Use of cast. So cast is a word used in changing one character type to another. So we obviously we can't change name to date. We can't change a string, the name to a date format, but we can change date to string. So we would apply the word cast on string, okay? And let's see what happens when we do that. I'll comment this out, otherwise it will throw up an error again. But let me just copy everything. So how do we go about solving this problem? The way to do this is this. And close this in a bracket. But we use quotation marks for this, for the brackets. And then plus cast. Plus cast. And close this one is the start date we want to convert the date type to string. Okay, we want to convert date type to string. So what we do here is we name this as we give it a variable character, varchar. Let's assume we give it up to, let's say, 30 characters. So now see what has happened. We have told the system that wherever it sees dates, it should change it to a variable character, which is a string up to 30 characters. That is what we have done here. And let's see if this would work. Does it work? Does it work? I think it does, but there is something I think I have missed. I need to put this so that the date is seen. So we have 1, 2, 3. We have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and we have 1, 2. So this has got another. So this one should have. Am I right? This is for now. I want this to be enclosed. I want everything enclosed in brackets. Start date. Okay, I think it's here. Hmm. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, okay. Yep, I think that's it. I think it's. One, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. There's one more. Yep, that's it. So that should enclose it should have opening and closing bracket for the date. Oops. Data type dates varchar are incompatible. The add operator. Plus cast. Dates. Okay, okay. Okay, I see. All right, let me put it here then. Why is this here? Okay, I'll find it. I'll find why this is. I just wanted to put a bracket around the full date. So we have title, surname, plus, space, plus. Title, surname, plus. Okay, let me get rid of one of these and see if that's gonna work. Any help? Phone a friend?
I was thinking you should remove the open bracket first, run it.
This one?
Yes, run it and then see where to now put the second one.
Okay, let's see. But I seriously don't think so. I seriously don't think so. Okay, let's see. There is this still here, so it's not gonna work.
Because you have a plus after the start.
Okay, let me write the whole query again. I think I'm a bit mixing up stuff. So we want title, surname, title plus space plus surname plus space plus date. Title plus space plus surname plus space plus date. Now the date is, we want to cast the date. Yeah, so that's it. The date should be, the cast should be, it should all be in bracket. Should be in this type of bracket. Plus casts. Start date as variable character 30.
You have a plus after the start date. That's why the as is showing is underlined.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's correct. Start date as variable character 30. As name with date. This is what we did the first time, right? This is what we did the first time, but I want the whole thing in brackets. I want the brackets to close. I want a closed bracket. So I'm thinking of where to put it.
Can you try after the last bracket, then space?
Let me see this. Start date, character, casts, plus. Yep, I think that's gonna work now. I think it's gonna work now. Oops, why is that? Data types VACA incompatible, really? Really? Okay, so it says it's incompatible. Okay, let me get it out of the way then. Let's leave it as it is. What if I put it here? if I put it here, plus. Plus. But if we put it here, let's see if this is gonna work. Oh, beautiful. Yep, that's it. That's what I wanted. That's what I've been looking for. So sometimes you have to do some try and error. Just try to get it. Sometimes you got to do that. Now, one interesting thing is that I want to show you when you use casts. So you see, now it has allowed us to concatenate the name and then the date. But previously, this one didn't allow us to do that because we didn't use cast. Okay, so if I have, for example, 2 plus 2 plus, say 3. If I have 2 plus 3, what is that? Mm-hmm.
It's going
Can
to give
you tell me
error.
what this is?
It's going to give error.
Are you sure? Are you
I think so.
100% sure? Are you trying
I
it
think
on your sister? I think this would work.
we're not trying it.
This
it's
would
fine.
work.
I thought because of the invited comers.
Okay, that is what I just wanted to show you. So what is happening here? You ask yourself, why is it that this one is working and this is not working? And this one here is not working. Why is, because 3 here is a string. Having put it in quotation marks turns it into a string, right? So why is it working? Now, obviously, if we were to do something like this, obviously, if we do this, let's see if this one would work. So what is the difference between the two? 3 here, 3 there. But this has worked, this one didn't work. Why is it not working? Now, has anybody got an idea why that would work and that one will not work? The reason is simple. When systems are built and they are used over a period of time, they get used to certain, it's like artificial intelligence, right? You can train the system to recognize certain things. So in the same vein, here, the system knows what we want to do. But in the system brain, it is wondering whether or not this is the number 3. But it has given us a result 5 regardless. Thinking that what we really want to do here is to add 2 and 3. It has just given us that benefit of the doubt. Right? Now, this here, done by the system itself, is referred to as implicit conversion. Implicit conversion. And imagine if you were to be if the system is to be running this 1,000 or 1,000,000 times, the system would get tired and would run out of space. So this certainly is not good. And normally, it shouldn't even add an integer and a string. It shouldn't do that. But the system is thinking, is this is the number 3 written as a string. Could the human person writing this thing have made a mistake? Could they have made a mistake? So it thinks that we really want to add 2 and 3 and then returns 5. The best way to do this is to cast this number here as an integer. So this is not a good way to do it. We need to cast it as an integer. So what we would do is so we use the word cast. Cast. We still have our 3 in quotation marks, right? But now we are telling the system exactly what we want it to do. We have told the system in this particular instance, we have told the system exactly, we have told it to convert this 3, which is a string, to an integer. And if we run this, it would give us the same results. It would give us the same results, but in running this, we have put a strain on the system. We are allowing the system to overthink. Here, we have told the system exactly what to do, so it doesn't think about anything, right? So this one here is referred to as explicit conversion. Explicit conversion. Any questions so far? So this is how we use the word cast, okay? The next is convert, but I'll defer the use of convert for when we do dates, and we are going to start dates today, date handling. Right, we're going to introduce dates today. Any questions so far? So that's somehow brings us to an end of string handling. So with this, you should be able to handle any strings that you come across, right? Except for convert, acts almost the same as cast, as the name implies. Converts, so using it to change from one form to another. But we would see we'll see the extensive use of it when we do dates. So I'll rather leave that for now. Right, so under date handling, there are a number of concepts, a number of words that we will look at. And this one, I want it to be very, very interactive. So if you can all just turn on your laptops and then just log into open up your SQL server. Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. There are a number of things we will look at. One of them is the word get date. The next one is date add. Date diff. Date part. And date name. These are the 5 main things we will look under dates, handling dates. How many of you have got your SQL Server Management Studio up? How many people have it?
I have mine running.
You have yours running, so can we use you?
Okay.
And everybody, please, if you can do this, it's not just the person who just responded. You don't need, for most of the things that we would do with dates, you really don't need a database. Though at some points we would refer to a database, but really and truly, we don't need one for now. So everybody can be involved in this. So I want this to be as interactive as possible. So if you can everybody, please type in this word and this query and see what you get. Select get date. Brackets open, brackets close. And run this query. And see what you get. Let me see if you finished. Let's know when you finished. Just indicate when you finished. Nobody's finished.
No, I'm done.
You're done. What did you get?
I got today's date and no, I got 22nd. Okay, now yeah, today's date actually. 19th
Yeah,
of
same here.
August 2020.
19th,
Today's date
7th,
and time. Yeah.
and
Yep,
time.
you
Yeah.
get today's
Same.
date and the time that you run the query.
Yeah.
So today is
Yeah.
19th of July 2024. It's
Yeah.
written in American version 240719. And you get the time. The time now that I run my query, I run the query at exactly 10:28, 10:20, 28 seconds, 593 milliseconds. Okay, so that's what it gives you. So this query gets date. This word gets date gives you the date of the query and the time up to milliseconds. Date and time up to milliseconds. Right. The next one we will do is the dates add. Now, date add takes 3 arguments. Three arguments. Arguments. And these arguments are interval, increment, interval, increment, and expression. It takes 3 things: interval, increment, and expression. Let's see how that works. Select date add. Now, what does that tell you when you hear date add? What does it should tell you something? What does it tell you?
Add a date.
Add a date. Add something. Add something. Right? Add a date. That's good. So we can do this. We want to add a date. So if we want to add a date, we must have a starting date, right? Right? Hello?
Yes, we should.
We should have a starting date. So what I'm trying to make you realize is that unconsciously, we are getting these arguments. It should add a date, and it should have a starting date. And then how many dates, how many days, or how many dates do we want to add? That is your increment. That is your increment. Right? Now, your starting date is your expression. And your interval is whether you want your date, how you want your date to be returned. So let's see. We said we should add date. How do we want to have the dates added? Let's assume we want to add dates in days. We want to add in days, right? And we want to add, let's say 20, what date is today? 19. Let's make it simple. We want to add 10 days. From today. Today, we know today is what? Get date, right? Today's date and time is get date. Is that right? A start bracket, so we should close the bracket. Let's run this and see what we have. What does that give us? Can somebody tell us what that gives us? Yes, anybody? Did anybody get it?
It should give us, I think, 10 days
From when?
from today.
So what date should that be?
That's
29th.
29th. So is the result correct? Look at the
Yes,
date here,
correct.
24/07/29. That's 29th of July 2024. And as you can see, if you check, I run the query just about 10 on my laptop. You see the time is 10:26. It's just changed to 10:27 now. So the time that the query was run was 10:26, 7 seconds, 867 milliseconds, right? So it has given us, we have been able to add a date onto today. We can decide to change the, okay, let's see, let's do a few more. So assuming we want to find what date it would be from today, in let's say 2000 days from now, what date is that going to be? Will anybody be able to tell us ordinarily? I'm sure even your calculator may not be able to calculate this easily like that. You might not be able to use a calculator. You first of all have to find days, convert to how many years are in these days, and then all that's headache. But this would easily, very easily do that. If you execute this query, it tells you that that date is 2030. So 2000 days from today is 9th of January 2030. And the time is 10:28. 10:28. It gives you the time also. Right? Let's do. So we've been able to change the dates. Let's see if we can change we've been able to change the increment, the increment. Let's see if we can change the interval. Let's see if we can change the interval. Instead of days, let's say we have weeks. And let's say we change this to, let's say 20. And let's see what that is going to give us. That gives us 6th of December 2024. That gives us 6th of December. So 20 weeks from now, from today, will be 6th of December 2024. Right? And in much the same way, we can change it to years. We can change this to years. Let's assume that we want the dates 5 years from today. 5 years. What will that be? So that is 2029. It will be 19th of July 2029. Okay. And we can change this again to minutes. How many minutes will it be from now? Let's say, how many minutes? Let's say, what will be the date from now if we add 3,000 minutes. 3,000 minutes. What would be the date? The date will be 22nd of July, 2024. And you see the time has changed. 3,000 minutes from now, it will be 12:32. So that would be after midnight. 12:32, 2 seconds, 783 milliseconds. Are we getting somewhere with this? Right. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Date diff. So what comes to mind when knowing what date art is? What comes to mind when you see or when you hear of date diff?
The difference is in dates.
Difference. This also takes 3 arguments. Takes 3 arguments. Arguments. Am I spelling this right? It takes 3 arguments. It takes the interval, just like the first one. It takes the starting date. And it takes the end date. These are the 3 arguments this takes, slightly different from the first one. The first one takes interval increment expression. This one takes interval, starting date, and end date. Right? So assuming, for example, let's say select how many of you have children on the how many of you have children on the call? Who has a child on the call?
I do.
You do. Don't tell us who you are. Don't tell us the name of the child. Are you able to let us use your child's date of birth?
All right.
Pardon? Hello? Can we or can't we?
Yes, sir.
Anybody to volunteer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, can you volunteer a date of birth?
Yeah, 18th of July.
18th of July,
Yeah. 2017.
2017. Thank you. Thank you very much. So let's use that for this query here. So select date diff. Date diff. We want an interval. So what interval? Let's assume the interval is days. right? The start date, the date of birth, the day this child was given birth to is 2017 07 18. But this has to be in quotation marks, okay? And today, who gave us this date of birth, please? You would see how many days that child is. So that child is 2,558 days old. Is it not interesting? So if somebody says they are celebrating their birthday, you can easily calculate the number of days they've been here. And actually you can play some jokes with that. You can play some jokes with that. So if you would all on your own do this, find the number of days that maybe yourself, your partner, your children, your parents have been on this earth. You can use this to do that. Right? In much the same way we know we've done it in days, we can do it in weeks. We can do it in weeks, we can do it in months, we can do it in year, we can do it in minutes. All we do now is just to change this to whatever interval that we want. So assuming we want to change this to weeks, right? If we run this query, we will see the number of weeks. And that is 365. We can run it in months. Change this to month. And that should tell us how many months. 84 months. And in much the same way as you already know, we can change it to years. So obviously it will give us that in a whole number anyway. 2017 to now, that's 7 years. So we expect to get 7 years, right? If we run this in years, we expect to get 7 years. Okay. Any question? Any questions so far? Has anybody tried it? Have you tried looking at the number of days you've been on planet Earth? Everybody try it. It's quite fascinating. You see that we haven't stayed on this earth for long at all. Let's assume somebody was born in 1900. let's assume somebody was born. Let's assume somebody was born 1st of January 1900. 1st of January. Up to today. We want to find, okay, up to today, how many days? Okay, this is already in years, so let's just do the years. Up to today, we already know that's 124 years, 1900 to now. It's 124 years. If we want to find the number of days, so that person would only have stayed 45,000 days, 45,490. Somebody that was born in 1900. Only 45,000. That is not much. If you look at it, life is short, just too short. Somebody who was born, that person would look very old and probably look wrinkly and all that. But the person would have stayed on this earth for just 45,490 days. Unbelievable. That should tell us that life is really, really, really very short. And I don't think any of us on this platform, I'm not sure, I don't think any of us on this platform is even half this age. So I don't think I'm not sure, but 20,000, has anybody reached 20,000 days yet? I don't know. 20,000 days. Any questions? Date part. Like the name suggests, this is just part of a date. Part of a date. So this takes two arguments. Arguments. It takes the interval and the date. It takes interval and date. So let's see how that works. What day is today? Today is 19th of July. And what day is it? It's Friday. So let's see what it's going to give us. We want this in days, and we want it for today. So you see that we want it in days. Day is 19, and it's only part of the date. That is why it's called date part. Date part. If we can, in the same way, just like the other ones, do this for month and year. And what will that return? I'm sure we can guess what that will return. It returns the month part of the date. So this is 7th of July. Sorry, 19th of July. So the month is month 7. And also, we can return it in years. And as you would probably guess, and rightly so, it should give us the year part of the date. So that should give us 2024. Are we here? Are we all here? Paradise, are we here? Babajide, are we here? Ada, are
Yes.
we here?
Yes.
Yeah,
Abayomi,
yeah.
Ayobami, Bode, Ibi, Damola.
Body is yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now let's do the final part for today. Date name. I'm surprised nobody has a question here.
So I have a question.
Yes, what's the question?
Can we do this for minutes and also seconds spent so
Yes,
far
we
in the day?
can. We did it for minutes the first time. We did it there. We did it where? Where is it?
For the add date.
We can do minutes, see minutes. You can do seconds. You can actually do seconds if you want. You want
Okay.
to see the number of seconds you've lived on this earth? You can do that. Okay, you use dates diff to do that. Okay, let's do seconds for this person. Let's do seconds for... okay, let's do seconds for this person.
Actually mean number of minutes spent so far in the day.
In the day.
Yeah, at date
Well,
part.
let's try that and see. Let's actually try it and see. Dates part. Let us try it. Minutes. I doubt. Okay, let's try it. Let's try it. Let's
I
try
think
it.
it should give us.
Let's try it. Minute. Minute. Let's try it. There's no harm in trying. Why do you think it's giving us minutes? It's giving us 50.
We're on the 50th minute in the
Yeah,
hour.
we're on the 50th minute of the hour. So this one would, instead of getting the whole date, making it the whole date, it just does the hour on the hour. And in the same way, I believe we can also get seconds if we want. Let's try seconds too and see if we can get seconds. "28 seconds, really?" Okay, so we are within 28 seconds of the 51st minute. You see how accurate this can be. What this is actually saying is that, you see, this 10:51. We are on the at the time of running this query, we were on the 28th second of the 51st minute. Any other questions? What I was actually what I actually wanted was, when we say dates part, why is it that the name of the date didn't come? So this is number 2, number 3, number 4. Number 5. So that the question that I just asked, we get that from date name. This also requires 2 arguments. It requires the interval and the date, just like the previous one. So let's select date name. Can anybody tell us where this is going to lead to? Day gets date. Can anybody tell us where this is going to lead to?
What the day
Was it
is?
given like for example, Monday?
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Date name. Select date name. Name. I want name, not number. Okay, I get it. I get it.
You have to do like JJ.
Pardon?
Sorry, like DD.
No, we haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
Okay, I get it. I actually know what's happening with this. Yeah. So this also gives us the dates, the date number of, but there is one that will give us the name. Date name, weekday. Let's see if this gives us the name. Yep, this gives us the name of the day, of the week. The name of the day of the week. And that the next one gives us July. But as you would know, we cannot get the same for year. So if we use year, I'm sure that would return a number. So this and that have got something in common. The first and the last have something in common. And what do you think that might be? Obviously, it can't, the year cannot be called, it hasn't got a name. We haven't got a name for the year other than the the integer itself. But the day also, why is it returned 19 and not Friday? Why did did it have to be this one? Can anybody think of something? Right, the reason simply is, you know, there are 7 days of the week of the week. And so if we just, if that query was just to return a name, it wouldn't be a name that is specific to a particular day of the month. But 19 is specific to a particular day of the month, right? And weekday is the day of the week is specific to a particular day of the week. So that is where the difference is. Any other question? There is something I want to, I don't, we wouldn't finish this if I start. So let's end here. Like I said, strings and dates would take 3 lessons. So we have another lesson, another session. We would have another session with dates and combine with the remaining part of strings to complete strings and dates. Yeah. So we have converts to do. We will see how that works. And then we would also see how the days of the week can be named. In different places, days of the week are named differently. For example, in some places, Monday is considered the first day of the week. In some places, Sunday is considered the first day of the week. So we'll see how that plays out with our queries in the next lesson. What is the first day of the week in UK? Do we know? Does it matter? What is the first day of the week in Saudi Arabia? Right? So we will look at how these things work out. Any questions so far?
None from my end.
Okay. Have we gained something?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Paradise, I'm going to send this to you straight away.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so let me stop sharing. If there are no questions, have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Have a lovely
But if you have a question, you can ask. I can
Thank
still
you.
for like 5 minutes. Thank you for thanking me.